All right, folks, welcome to the Break the Content Silo webinar with Avid and Adobe. We're going to cover sharing assets seamlessly in Avid production environments with Adobe Premiere Pro. My name is Ray Thompson, and I am the Director of Product Marketing here at Avid, and I want to welcome you to the webinar. At the end of this webinar, you should have a good understanding of MediaCentral panel for Adobe Premiere Pro. You should have a good understanding of what MediaCentral is. You should also have a good understanding of what's possible with the new release. You should also have a good understanding of what we're enabling in terms of both news and post-production workflows. And last but certainly not least, we will discuss the Avid and Adobe partnership, which is what's making this all possible. And then we'll touch on some upcoming webinars that you may want to attend. Today's agenda is that we'll go through some quick introductions of the folks who are going to be presenting today. We'll also do a quick product overview so you're familiar with all of the products that we'll be discussing on the call today. We'll be doing a few demos. One will be for news, one will be for post, and then we'll hit on some of the main features that are really enabling these workflows to be as powerful as they are now. And then we'll walk through a couple of customer examples, and we'll also discuss the Avid and Adobe partnership. And then of course we'll have questions available at the end. So just some logistics here for you. So if you're on the Zoom and you want to ask a question, you can actually use the Q&A button that's available in the bar inside of Zoom to ask a question. We have a host of people from Avid who are on the line who are here to help answer those questions as you ask those. And then we'll pick some of those questions and ask them at the end. If you're participating today in this webinar on one of Avid's social channels, we want to thank you for doing so. But if you're on a social channel, we also have several Avid folks monitoring those channels as well. So if you have questions that you want to ask inside of those forums, we do have people who will be able to answer those questions as well. So I want to thank you all for being on the webinar today. Here's our distinguished panel that we have today presenting. So again, my name is Ray Thompson, Director of Product Marketing here at Avid for all things video and video post. And I want to welcome Van Bedient, who is here. He is the Head of Strategic Development here at Adobe. We also have Marjorie Sachs, who is also here from Adobe. She is a software engineer. We also have Michael Krulik, who is our video product evangelist, who will be walking you through the post workflow. And then we also have Craig Wilson, who is also here today, and he's doing the walkthrough on the news workflow, and he is our product evangelist for broadcast. So I want to thank you all for being a part of the webinar today. We figured we'd just quickly cover who Avid is. You know, we realize that there are many folks who are participating in today's webinar, and some of whom may not actually be familiar with who Avid is. So Avid has been around for over 30 years now, and Avid has been delivering software and hardware solutions to the media and entertainment industry for that entire 30 years. We pretty much offer tool sets that cover the full workflow, whether it be for broadcast, post, even music and music production. And so we really have tool sets that address the entire need: ingest, storage, asset management, editing, automation, orchestration, graphics, publishing, and playout, and several other things in between. And our customers tend to run the gamut as well in terms of folks who represent the entire lineup of folks who you would expect to take advantage of these tool sets. So students, media professionals, aspiring creatives, musicians, certainly artists, and then media companies like film, television, sports, news, post, all part of the core market. And then we also have a number of government and corporate clients. Well, we'd invite you to check out Avid on avid.com if you are not familiar. All right, just real quick, I want to kind of touch on some of the products that we'll be talking about today. Again, we know that some of you may not necessarily be familiar with some of these tool sets. So just very briefly, I want to make you aware of what these tool sets are. So as we reference those throughout the presentation, you'll be familiar. So first and foremost, MediaCentral. Avid introduced MediaCentral about 3.5 years ago. MediaCentral is a browser-based way for users to access their either production environment or asset management environment, your archive, and do so from a web browser running on a tablet or mobile device. It's a very powerful way to search for and find content. You can actually edit content in a browser, share content, and then ultimately publish content and or even send content playback in a traditional production environment. The MediaCentral panel and the MediaCentral connector, both of which work for Adobe Premiere Pro, we will also be spending a considerable amount of time on, walking you through the scenarios that are now possible with the panel that lives inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the exciting news here today. And then, of course, we'll be referencing the MediaCentral Production Asset Management Environment, so PAM, as well as the Media Asset Management Environment, which is your archive, and that's your MAM. And so if you see a PAM or a MAM reference throughout the presentation, or you hear that referenced in any of the demos, that's what we're talking about. And then, of course, we have Avid Nexus Storage. Avid has a long history of delivering storage solutions to the media industry, going all the way back to the Unity days, enabling multiple clients to sit on a network to not only share content, but ultimately collaborate in a more efficient manner. So today's version is Nexus, and Nexus is not only a software-defined file system, but it is also a tiered storage management solution that's been proven and tested in production environments now for years and years and years. So it's a very reliable platform that scales as your department needs to. And it really allows organizations really of any kind, small, medium to large, to even extra large, take advantage of the storage platform and design how they want to build that storage platform over time. So real quick, MediaCentral Cloud UX, as I said earlier, is a browser-based way for users to access content. That content can be living inside of either the asset management environment or inside of the production asset management environment. The browser allows users to ingest content, search for and find content in a variety of different ways. You'll get to see all of that in action today. Once they find the content, it allows them to do some editing in terms of being able to do up to 4 tracks of video and 8 tracks of audio. You can also modify metadata and add net new metadata. And you can also then ultimately share that content very easily across the network. This is available to users in both Media Composer and now, of course, inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. One other mention just about MediaCentral is that it is an open platform. So by that we mean we have a whole host of Avid Alliance partners who have built solutions that extend MediaCentral out into a variety of different ways. We also enable software developers. A lot of media companies today have their own software development teams. They can actually develop software platforms or applications, I should say, that can run inside of the MediaCentral platform, leveraging the MediaCentral APIs and SDKs. Okay, the MediaCentral panel, for Adobe Premiere Pro is the star of the day. And this is really providing the ability for Adobe clients to plug into Avid infrastructure. So what this means is you can actually run the MediaCentral panel inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. You can then do those same searches and sorts, again, in a variety of different ways, including metadata searches or phonetic, which we'll show you in a minute. And then access that content very easily by importing that content directly into a Premiere Pro client. And then the user can then edit and modify that content in any way they see fit inside of Premiere Pro, and then ultimately put that content back into the production environment. So it's a much more seamless experience than has existed in the past. And this is a significant upgrade as to what was possible in the last few versions of MediaCentral. So we're going to walk through exactly what that means a little bit more today. And then I just wanted to briefly touch on the storage portfolio. So again, Nexus is an evolution of the Avid storage platform. This is the Nexus file system, which is a software-defined file system. And it sits on top of a tiered storage management infrastructure, which means that basically you have options, right? Options when it comes to SSDs for UHD editing and or finishing. Then you also have nearline and online options as well. And again, these are all covering a variety of different price points so that everybody from a small to medium-sized post organization to some of the largest media organizations in the world and everything in between have options when building out their storage strategies and leveraging the Avid Nexus platform, which is proven to use, or proven for use, I should say, inside of broadcast environments. And then, of course, the file system certainly extends out to the cloud. Avid and Microsoft have a deep partnership, and we've integrated the Nexus file system into the Azure Blob storage stack, so we can extend the Nexus file system very easily into the cloud. All right, so let's talk about some of the key challenges and what really drove a lot of the innovation and development between the two companies. So when you look at sort of historically some of the challenges when it comes to having a variety of different third parties sitting on the same infrastructure, of course, the big challenge is nowadays, especially, you have a distributed workforce, many working remotely. Working remotely nowadays means working from home. And they're also all looking for the same level of access to the same assets that are living inside of either the production environment or the asset environment. You have a bunch of third-party tool sets that all need to play together in a way to make the organization much more efficient. You have tiered storage, sometimes from different vendors, all of which also need to be able to talk to each other and or play together very seamlessly. Users need to be able to then easily search for and find content, and whether that content is sitting inside of the production environment or is sitting inside of the asset management environment. They want to be able to do simple searches and sorts and be able to find that content very quickly. Once they find that content, of course, they want to be able to edit it and share it across the entire production pipeline. They want to be able to do so and not have to worry about the different media types and or wrappers that may exist. They want to be able to focus on being creative. And they want to do it on a shared common platform. And ultimately, in a news or sports news organization, they want to be able to do both the digital and the linear broadcast production work all on that same common platform. They also need to publish to social and digital, which of course is becoming increasingly important, both economically and operationally for organizations, ultimately with the goal being they want to drive higher efficiency and they want to deliver the story first, and they want to deliver it fast across multiple platforms. Of course, before COVID even happened, the digital disruption that was happening in the industry was significant as users migrated to mobile platforms and relied more and more on social and digital for their news coverage. It really changed things both operationally and economically for news organizations. They had to not only build out the infrastructure in order to deliver that content reliably, but they also had to figure out how to monetize that content in new and interesting ways. The reason why that's applicable to what we're talking about here today is because that infrastructure tends to often be folks who are using Adobe Premiere Pro. And in the past, they were limited in terms of their access to the production or asset management environment and or storage. If they were having access, there was a lot of processing that had to happen in the background. And so what we've delivered now is a much more seamless experience where users using Adobe Premiere Pro can leverage the panel inside of Premiere Pro to access those same asset management and production environments, and whether those are sitting on-prem or they're looking at content sitting in different sites, all of that is now accessible via the panel. So the panel really affords a lot of the same functionality that you would have if you were using MediaCentral proper. The other key thing that we added here was the ability to create projects and or create project templates. So users can actually create templates and then ultimately create projects from those templates, or just create net new projects, all within the user interface. So they actually don't even need to be inside of Premiere Pro in order to do that project prep. They can do it right within the MediaCentral platform. There's also metadata exchange, right? So being able to basically map the metadata from the Adobe into the Avid production environments means that you can have much more powerful metadata searches. And then you can also now open up sequences inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, specifically MediaCentral and Media Composer sequences. And last but not least, you can send content to playback also from MediaCentral within Adobe Premiere Pro. These are all significant enhancements, and they really tie in the folks who are using Adobe Premiere Pro either as an exclusive platform or in a mixed environment. So with that, let's see what it looks like in a news organization. I'm just going to turn off my camera.
So let's take a look now at a new workflow that we can have in news using MediaCentral, cloudux, and Adobe Premiere. So here I have got a running order, I've got a story, and I have a sequence that is associated with this particular story. And this is in my production system. So this is my production asset management system. But if you look here on the left-hand side in MediaCentral cloudux, I now see this area, and this is the Adobe part of the Nexus. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to navigate into the projects area. And here you can see I've created a folder for demo projects. And here I've created my own folder. Now what I'm going to do just now is I am actually going to go in and I'm going to create a new project from a template. So if I select that here, you can now see I can select a template. So I'll select the news one, and we're going to call this one Cyprus Story, and I can create this project. Now, if you look in the project structure here, you see this project template already has different folders. It could have bins, it could have footage inside it, already set. So let me go ahead here, and I'm going to create that project. So I've now created a project that a user in Adobe Premiere can come in and now use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch across to Premiere and show you how I can access this project and also this video that I've just created. So now I'm going to switch across to Premiere, which I have on my other machine. So now I'm in Premiere, and you'll see inside Premiere I have the MediaCentral Cloud UX panel. Now this shows me, you see here I have my production system, I also have my asset management system here, but I can also see the Adobe part of the Nexus. So what I'm going to do now, of course, is I'm going to go into my projects area. There's that demo folder, and there's my CW projects. And what I'm going to do now is my Cyprus story, I simply right click on it, and I select to open the project in Premiere. Now what this is going to do, of course, in Premiere is it's now going to open the project that was created. Now this is the template project that we mentioned before. So as you can see down here, it has all of the different bins. These can contain subfolders, of course, and they can also contain footage, for example. So I'm going to go into my working on sequence here, because this is what I now want to work on. Now you see inside of Premiere I also have the ability to search, but I'm just going to browse. So here I go into my projects area, and then inside users, I have my CW folder, and inside this I have my Cyprus new sequence, and I'm going to right click on the sequence, and I'm going to select to import to Premiere. And we'll do native, and what this is now going to do is it's now going to import into Premiere my sequence and also my rushes. So you can see here, this clip is 12 seconds long, that's my sequence, and here are the associated rushes with it. Now, if I double click, that's going to load the sequence into the timeline, which is what you can see here. And if I just zoom into the timeline a little bit, then you can see here, as well as the shots, I also have got the mixes that were added. So if I play the sequence back, there's the dissolves that I also added in MediaCentral Cloud UX. Now I can, of course, if I double click here to load up the rushes, here are the rushes that have come in from the production system as well. So I can go here, I can mark in and out, and now I can drag and drop into the timeline, and I can add the shot directly in here. So now I'm editing this sequence directly inside Premiere. So I've taken this sequence across from MediaCentral Cloud UX. I can edit it directly here in Premiere. And now, of course, I can continue to work on it. And then the other thing that we've also added is this. So if I go to the MediaCentral Cloud UX window, from here, I could select to send this sequence to playback. So select this. This then pops up the send to playback dialog box. The video ID that I added inside MediaCentral Cloud UX is already there, and then I could send this to playback. Now it's worth mentioning, as well as doing send to playback, I could of course send this back to the production system at this point as a flat file, and then of course we could use that and publish it directly from MediaCentral Publisher. Or alternatively, I could export from Premiere and import that file into MediaCentral Publisher to publish to social media as well. So those are just some of the new news workflows that we're enabling with MediaCentral Cloud UX and Adobe Premiere.
Thanks, Craig. That was great. So some of the key things that Craig just showed there was the ability to not only create net new projects that would be available inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, but to do so from the MediaCentral panel, whether that panel is sitting inside of Adobe Premiere Pro or you're using it as just MediaCentral. You can create those projects. You can create those projects from templates as well. Of course, you'll be able to search for and find content sitting on Nexus, and so from within the panel, and then bring that content into Adobe Premiere, and ultimately work with it, and then publish it and or send it to playback. All of that is possible, again, using some of the metadata mapping capabilities as well, which is allowing you to do that metadata search. So some of the key benefits here are the fact that we're driving much higher efficiencies by plugging the Adobe Premiere Pro clients into the Avid production environment in a much more interoperable way. So we're adding a significant amount of capabilities here in the latest and greatest MediaCentral release, which is allowing for users to basically deliver content and deliver content faster and manage both their linear broadcast and their digital broadcast, and do so from a common platform. And this provides an enormous amount of flexibility for customers, and it also allows us to do much more when it comes to accessing that content and doing so very quickly. So thank you, Craig. That was great. So now let's, before I get to post, one of the other things I actually wanted to highlight here was sort of the topologies, right? So the things that we're enabling here are offering us the ability to have a mixed environment. So you can actually have a mixed Avid and Adobe environment all sitting on the same common infrastructure. So production asset management and/or media asset management, allowing you to do searches not just on-prem, but across multiple sites using MediaCentral. Of course, we're enabling folks to do remote access, right? Either via VPN using MediaCentral or using something like Topologies to access those clients sitting on-prem and then using those editing tool sets that are available there. The other key thing that we're enabling here is an all Adobe client implementation. So maybe you have all Adobe clients and they're all working off of the same Avid infrastructure. That is now possible. And so we're supporting both a mixed environment and an all Adobe environment, all sitting on Avid infrastructure, all accessing the same powerful search, editing, and sharing capabilities. All right, so let's talk about post for a second. So in post, you often have a lot of the same challenges that you do in the news and sports workflows, but you also have some unique challenges as well. Certainly, you have the challenge today of the distributed workforce. Folks working from home is always a challenge. And they often have the challenge of being able to do the prep of projects and media before a craft editor ever actually touches the content. So being able to enable the ability to do so and do so quickly, regardless of whether you're using the MediaCentral panel within Adobe Premiere or doing so inside of MediaCentral, it's all critical. They want cross-platform access, and they want it to be seamless from regardless of whether it's a third-party tool set or not. They want to be able to access the content off of tiered storage. You want to be able to search the production environment and the archive. And again, you want to be able to quickly edit and share that content and do so very efficiently, regardless of the media type or wrapper. And you want to be able to do this all off of a shared and common platform in order to publish to an ever-growing list of OTT partners, as well as your traditional partners when delivering that content, all of which is driving higher efficiency, enabling greater collaboration, and ultimately a faster time to market. So when you look at some of the challenges in post-production, the digital disruption that was happening pre-COVID certainly impacted traditional film and television production as well. This really required these companies, post companies in particular, to be more nimble, be able to create content faster, and therefore collapsing some of these processes that in the past were very linear into a much more faster and seamless process. They also needed to enable greater collaboration. They also needed to be able to have an open platform that allowed for not only approved third parties to basically work with and extend those capabilities, but also inviting in other editing systems so that it can all access a common pool of content, which allows them to not only have a strong storage strategy, but also allows them to do a better job of aggregating, managing, and distributing that content. So let's see what it looks like in a post environment. I'm going to have Michael Krulik take over here for a second and show you what's possible.
Thank you, Ray. Hi, I'm Michael Krulik, Video Product Evangelist for Avid out of Los Angeles, and let me start off by saying that we are thrilled that our partnership with Adobe keeps getting stronger. Years ago, we announced the addition of the MediaCentral panel inside of Adobe Premiere, and now asset management can be expanded with more functionality, whether you're a studio or network, post house or promo department that utilizes a mixture of Avid and Adobe NLEs, or maybe you're all Avid, or maybe you're all Adobe. You still have remote and collaborative tools at your fingertips. Let me start off by showing you one way to access your Avid and Adobe assets and projects from the MediaCentral production and asset management platform through a web browser. Now I'm in Los Angeles, I'm on my Mac laptop, and I'm using Chrome to log into an Avid Nexus shared storage system that's actually in Munich. So obviously I could be anywhere. I've logged into the MediaCentral Cloud UX where I have tools allowing you to browse or search for media across all projects that you have permission to see. Now, the apps that you see here across the top can be customized and added depending on what your requirements are. Such as if you need to ingest media, you can actually do it through the web browser. There's review and approval, and there's also publishing to social media. It's just to name a few of the apps. Browsing your MediaCentral production management system in the Browse app lets you view projects and media where you'll see that the structure mirrors the bin and folder structure of your Media Composer and Adobe Premiere projects. You'll see that here in the left side directory panel. You can also create folders and bins for editorial without having to even open up the actual NLE. You can do it here in the web browser. This lets assistants prep the project before the craft editor even opens it. Bins can be opened up and you can use the hover scrub option to scan through your clips, just like this. And if you double click on the media, it loads up into a viewer, giving you a better look at the media. You can resize the window to make it larger or even display it full screen. And if you have a second display connected, there's a new feature that allows you to assign your full screen playback to that second display. Very cool. The Asset Editor and Media Viewer on the right lets you see and control audio tracks on your media playback.
And animation and live action, including Pixar, Paramount, Leica.
You can view metadata from your media, and you can even add more if needed. And by the way, any of this metadata is a searchable item throughout the MediaCentral platform. This metadata can be added as comments, or you could even add markers. And these markers will be seen by anyone accessing the assets through the web browser, through Media Composer, or even through Adobe Premiere, all adding to your totally collaborative environment. Now, searching through the Search app provides filters to pinpoint specific media or assets by typing in maybe the name of the clip or the sequence that you're looking for. Maybe you have some custom metadata that has been applied to the clips. You could actually search for that. Or you could even search by time modified or created, and you get to see any sort of results that you may have for media by, modified, date, time, or even by exact file type. We'll show you a little more about searching later. So let's jump into Avid Media Composer, which, by the way, I am remoting into. Media Composer is on a system in Germany. It has Nexus locally attached to it. And here I have a couple of sequences that I want to check into the MediaCentral Production Asset Management System. It will allow anyone on the platform to access it. By the way, you could check in entire bins with media and sequences, or you could even choose specific elements and assets that you'd like to check in. Once they're checked in, I can open them up in the web browser to review them.
Zero, come in. I repeat, Zero, do you copy?
I can also create shot lists and sequences in MediaCentral Cloud UX. A new feature in the latest release of MediaCentral Cloud UX is the ability to add multiple layers of video and audio in the web browser, up to 4 tracks of video and 8 tracks of audio. And you can even add markers and comments to your sequence as well. But I'm sure you really want to see how this works in a post environment that may have Media Composer and Adobe Premiere. And I'm happy to have Marjorie Sachs from Adobe here to help me out. She's a quality engineer on the film and integration team in Los Angeles. Marjorie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Michael. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So Marjorie, how do you bring in this sequence and its media into Adobe Premiere using the Avid MediaCentral platform?
Right, that's easy. So Michael mentioned earlier that the MediaCentral Cloud UX panel is available inside of Adobe Premiere. And I'm remoting in to Adobe Premiere Client, which is directly connected to the Avid Nexus. You can see the browse and the search apps that Michael showed, but rather than drilling down through the directory to find the sequence, I can search for it by name. So I'll search for it by the name rough, or I could search for anything that has been created or modified in the last 10 minutes. And look, there it is. I right-click on the file I want, and there is an option to import into Premiere, where all of the media is linked from Nexus, and the sequence is now in my Adobe Premiere project. So now I can make any changes, add new elements or media, and save it back for anyone using MediaCentral, even if you have Avid and Adobe on the same editorial ecosystem. We know that there are a lot of Adobe Premiere environments that would like to take advantage of the MediaCentral production management platform, so let me show you and start by creating a new project. I have one that I have prepped for a promo department, and I know that there are graphics and elements that I want everyone to use as a standard across the group.
Now, Marjorie, the folder structure and format that you have laid out there in your Adobe project is really nice. Is there a way that you could save that for other team members to use without them having to actually go in and find and open that project and rename it?
Yes, there is. If my project and media is on Avid Nexus, I can save this project as a template. And then that template can be used by anyone on MediaCentral to create other projects, even from the cloudux web browser. It's pretty cool. This would enable the team to have a defined set of folders and bin presets, and you can save graphics, music, and other elements that are pre-baked into the new Adobe Premiere projects.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to jump back into the MediaCentral cloudux web browser and access the folder of Adobe Premiere projects. When I right-click, I'm presented with an option to create a new project from a template. Now I can select the template that Marjorie created directly from Adobe Premiere, and you'll see that you get a preview of the folders and bins and even elements that are in that template. This is a great way to be certain that what you choose is what you want to use. The project is prepped and ready for the Adobe Premiere Editor. While I'm in the web browser, let's take a look at another powerful tool that helps you search through the massive amount of media that you could have on your Avid Nexus. Let's go into the Search app. Now the colored pill up here in the Search app lets you select the type of search you want to do. It could be by metadata, by name, markers, or by phonetic search. Now the phonetic search option lets you search all of the media on your Nexus across all of your projects by the spoken word. So if you know someone said something and you don't have the transcription or it's not noted in the metadata, you can go to the Search app, type in the word that you're looking for, and all of the results where it thinks it found a match actually are shown in the inline hits. These inline hits can be seen on the source clip or in the timeline itself.
Animation and in live action. Animation is such a labor-intensive and expensive process. You want to make.
You also get a representation of the phonetic hits in the tab underneath the media viewer. And here you get a representation of the entire clip, and you see the little colored dots here are telling me where in relation to the clip the word is actually being said. And when you double click here, you also get taken to that point in the media.
Animation, you get storyboards that you cut together to.
Then you could go in and add markers or create subclips, and at this point start building a new sequence or shot list, just like I did earlier, that could be checked in and given to anybody on the MediaCentral platform.
Wow, that's really amazing, Michael. Do I have that phonetic search functionality in Premiere?
Yes, you do. Check out the MediaCentral panel in Premiere.
Okay, I have the Search app, and I can see the same tools that you have. Let me do a phonetic search on the word film. Wow, there's a lot of results.
You can still look at all the results, but currently you would import the entire clip into Premiere and use it. But This can save you a substantial amount of time when it comes to looking for media by what is just being said.
Double major both in broadcast journalism, and I was also a film and television student.
And again, all of this can work in your facility or network where you have an Avid and Adobe ecosystem, or all Avid, or all Adobe. The choice is yours. So that was an overview of the 2020.9 release of the Avid MediaCentral platform and our continued integration with Adobe Premiere. I'd like to thank Marjorie Sachs for helping me out today. Thank you for your time, and I'll turn it back to Ray.
All right. Thanks, Michael, and thank you, Marjorie. That was great. So there you can see just the level of interoperability that is now possible. It's certainly grown significantly. So if you've used previous versions, you can see just the level of detail now that it's available and all the sort of features that we're enhancing since that last release and all the news and post workflows we're enabling. So real quick, what I thought would be a good idea is I want to just walk through some of the current implementations we have that are representative of really the full gamut of different types of workflows. So here, for example, is a major broadcaster here in the US who is using Adobe Premiere Pro, up to 60 seats, all sitting on top of Avid infrastructure, leveraging the Avid Nexus E5. This group is primarily responsible for doing social and digital content creation and distribution. So that's one great example of one of the implementations we have today. We also have a small post facility, which is another good example here. These folks are using 20 plus Adobe Premiere Pro clients sitting on an Avid infrastructure, and they're creating movie trailers, which is also pretty cool. We also have a government organization, a large government organization that's using the full complement of Avid tool sets with a large Adobe Premiere Pro client implementation, all accessing content inside of both the production asset management and media asset management system, using both MediaCentral as well as the panel for Adobe Premiere Pro. And they're doing pretty much everything: file-based ingests, content searches and sorting, creating edits and sequences, publishing and pushing content. And they're doing so from both MediaCentral and Adobe Premiere Pro. And then we also have a major sports broadcaster who also has a large implementation. What's unique about this one is they also have a third-party storage solution connected to the asset management system. So they're able to do all those same searches and sorts and access all that content. And they can do all that from within MediaCentral. And of course, as you've seen, they can do it also now from within the panel for Adobe Premiere Pro. And then last but certainly not least, we have a large corporate example here. This is a company that uses both Adobe Premiere Pro and Avid production tool sets, as well as Avid Pro Tools to create content that's seen by customers in their stores, but also is being used to create content that they show in their company theater. So you can see that really what we're enabling here is a really wide variety of possibilities in terms of what we're enabling from a workflow perspective. So we have news, examples, government, corporate, and small post all represented here already. And this is all made possible by the partnership. So I want to welcome Van Bedient on the call. Van, welcome.
Thanks, Ray. We're very excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for not only your partnership, but for also your participation, and Marjorie as well, in the webinar today. So this is a fist bump, by the way. This is not fighting. This is a fist bump. But I thought it would be a good idea for us to just sort of talk through, partnership and sort of, how we have worked together to sort of enable what's possible now.
Fantastic. Avid's been a great partner to Adobe. We're very, very thankful for the relationship. Obviously, as you've just seen, Avid spent years building up this incredibly rich ecosystem within MediaCentral platform. And with this new announcement, it's amazing to have all of that rich ecosystem available right inside Premiere Pro, directly accessible right inside the application. So we couldn't be more excited to see this. I think it's even more amazing that we have all of this both on-premise and in the cloud. So we have so many customers adapting to remote workflows these days. It's a really critical part of the story. Obviously, the historic integration with Nexus has been really well received, but this enhanced support for MediaCentral really takes the collaboration to a new level. I think you have a bullet point on here as well. One thing we also want to mention is that we've done some additional work between Avid and Adobe to enhance AAF interchange between just Premiere Pro and Media Composer in a standalone environment. So we know that that'll benefit our customers as well. Again, really excited to see these exciting announcements, and great to see that you've integrated the things like the production features and the project templates. It's really just an excellent job. And again, very, very grateful.
Awesome. Thanks, Van. I really appreciate it. Like I said, the cooperation between the two companies has been fantastic, and it really is representative of not just the engineering efforts that have been going on, but also all the cooperation that's happening between the marketing teams developing the go-to-market strategies. So it's been fantastic. So thank you for all of that. Sue as well, right? Okay, so some of the key differentiators I think that you've seen in the call today, the ability to scale and support really high client counts is one of the key differentiators that we're bringing to the table. Obviously, the ability to plug in a large amount of Adobe clients sitting on Avid infrastructure is certainly one of the unique things we're bringing to the table. You can see the improvement in terms of both the interoperability and the performance. So it's visibly represented there in both demos. And then, of course, the searching capabilities, and specifically the phonetic search, which is specific to Avid, where we're doing a search on the spoken word, as Michael pointed out, where it's analyzing in real time whatever word or phrase you're typing in, and then it brings it up and it actually shows you where in those clips that word or phrase was actually spoken, which again speaks to the efficiency of the system and the ability to basically find content fast, regardless of where it's sitting, and then edit it and ultimately share it. And then, of course, the Avid Nexus storage platform and file system. Just long, rich history here of Avid delivering powerful storage solutions to the industry that are proven in both broadcast and post workflows. And so that is another unique thing we're bringing to the table. And then, as we pointed out, certainly the MediaCentral cloudux user interface and platform, which is what users are using either on a browser-based tablet, accessing content in either the production or asset management system, or using the panel for Adobe Premiere Pro to do things like create projects, edit, share, send to playback. A lot of new and rich features there now. And then, of course, the MediaCentral platform is indeed an open platform. So we have a number of third parties who have integrated into MediaCentral, but we also afford the ability for media companies who have software developers to build their own tool sets that can also extend capabilities inside of MediaCentral that may be specific just to their workflows. So with that, I want to just kind of let everybody know that we do have additional webinars that are coming up. So we have a news webinar that's going to be happening on Thursday, October 1st, where we'll do an even deeper dive into what's possible with the latest and greatest MediaCentral, focusing heavily, of course, on the Adobe implementation that we just showed you. And then we also will have a post webinar that's coming up on Monday, November 5th, where we'll spend that webinar going into the post workflows that are now enabled, not just with MediaCentral, but also with editorial management, which will be coming soon. So with that, I want to open it up for questions. I'm just going to open the Q&A here and see which questions folks would like to ask here. So probably the biggest question, and one of the things that you saw in the demo, was the ability to open up a Media Composer sequence inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. So the natural question is, can I do the same and open up an Adobe Premiere Pro sequence inside of Media Composer? So Craig, would you mind taking that one?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ray. So hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining tonight. So at this point, the focus that we have is on workflows of going from MediaCentral, cloudux, and Media Composer into Premiere. You saw in my demo, and you saw in the demo that Michael did about going that way. All I can say about going the other way is that is something that we're looking at, and it's something that we're looking to develop. But in this release, it's very much focused on going from Media Composer and MediaCentral, and then opening up those timelines inside of Premiere.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig. Here's one. What operating system do you need to run these programs? Can you mix audio with third-party plugins inside of Adobe Premiere Pro? Let's see. So I guess operating system, Craig, you want to talk to that one too?
Yeah, so obviously this is something that's supported on both Mac and Windows. going from one to the other. MediaCentral Cloud UX runs on a Chrome browser, so that's something that's available obviously on both Mac and Windows as well. I think there's been some general questions about effects translating from one system, to another. So yeah, there will still be some limitations around those kind of workflows in terms of the translation of effects that are going from Composer across into Premiere. The system itself, as you know, Ray, is due to be released very, very soon, and obviously when that comes out, there'll be full documentation around that, and that will highlight, where some of those limitations lie.
All right, great. Thanks, Craig. How about, can I do anything with After Effects or Photoshop in Cloud UX? I don't know, Regis or Craig?
Yeah, I can take that one as well. So inside of the MediaCentral Cloud UX browser, you can see all of the contents that are contained within the Premiere project. So if there are, After Effects files which are there, you are able to see them. They are indexed. You can't really do anything with them other than see that they're there. But of course, what that would mean is that inside Premiere, you have the ability of inside the MediaCentral panel of accessing those files. So while directly inside MediaCentral Cloud UX in the web browser, there isn't really anything that you can do with them. Inside of the panel, inside of Premiere, they are indexed, and so they are visible to see there. Regis, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that? No.
Not so good, Craig. Thank you.
All right, great. Let's see. So here's another one. Any Avid Adobe collaboration planned for Edit on Demand with Premiere? I would say at this point, no. There isn't anything in the works, but you never know. Is there a possible remote access with Nexus Cloud and Adobe Rush? We have not discussed that, I will say, but it's a good question. Thank you for asking. Let's see here. Are there other cognitive searches still production ready?
So Ray, I can speak to that one if you like.
Okay. Yeah, please.
So obviously what Michael showed is phonetic searching, and that's coming from obviously the phrase find and script sync, which we've had in Media Composer for a long time, of allowing us to search against the audio of files. And what phonetic searching does is really take that and expand it out to sort of database wide level. Inside our asset management system, so we saw MediaCentral Production Management. The workflows that you've looked at here are also supported with MediaCentral Asset Management as well. And with MediaCentral Asset Management, you may or may not know that Microsoft are our strategic partner for cloud-based workflows, and so we do have some AI workflows available as part of some workflows that they have there. That can include things like facial recognition, speech to text, scene analysis as well. But they are quite specific, and they're only really available through those asset management workflows as our part of our partnership with Microsoft Azure.
Excellent. Thanks, Craig. Here is one in terms of effects. So when opening a Media Composer sequence inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, are there any limitations either via the audio or any video effects?
I think I mean I can pop in with that. I mean, I think it really hi everyone, has to do with the type of effect. I mean, I think all basics like wipes and dissolves will come over, but if you get into some of the plugins and other more advanced effects, there may be issues. So you just want to be aware of that. But that's typical and just a standard swap of Media Composer to Premiere at this point. But we're working towards getting that a little better.
All right. Let's see. Van, this may or may not be for you, but I'll ask it anyway. Let's see. So how are third-party plugins handled that only exist in Premiere Pro? We haven't done anything I know that really touches that as far as I know, but I don't know, Van, do you have any comment there on that one?
I would assume they would be checked in and still stored as part of that Premiere project. Obviously wouldn't translate it as well in the interchange, and that's up to each plugin manufacturer to ensure that they're parameters are equal between platforms, but we would preserve those certainly within Adobe, within the Avid ecosystem. And as you bring projects back into Premiere again, those should persist through that process.
All right. Just finding a few more good ones here. We got a lot of good questions, so thank you everybody for sending these in. All right, so does the integration work with only MediaCentral Cloud UX or also with Media Composer? So as we pointed out, you can open sequences that have been created inside of MediaCentral Cloud UX, as well as Media Composer sequences inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. Can I check in a Premiere sequence back to MediaCentral Cloud UX? Craig, you want to take that one?
Hi, Ray. I'm sorry. I was typing an answer to one of the questions in the chat there. Would you mind asking that again? I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. So can I check in a Premiere sequence back to MediaCentral Cloud UX?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things around that. I mean, clearly what we've looked at in the webinar today is looking at environments where perhaps I've got production asset management and I'm working with Media Composer and MediaCentral Cloud UX and then going to Premiere. So if I'm working with a production asset management system and I'm coming from Premiere back, then that is going to come back in as a flat file at this point. It is something that we're looking at for working in the future. If I'm working in an environment where I'm working in Premiere and I have MediaCentral Cloud UX, because it is important to understand there are a range of different workflows that we're supporting here, and there's a range of different hardware requirements that you would need depending on what you were doing. So if you're working between, say, Premiere clients, for example, we also support Premiere Productions inside MediaCentral as well. And so in that scenario, then if I had a sequence that I had in a Premiere project and I then save that project back to Nexus, then in another Premiere client, assuming the project was unlocked, of course, I could come in and I could open that up. And inside MediaCentral Cloud UX, I could open up that sequence and I could play it back. So it is very dependent on the types of workflows that you're seeking to achieve, because we can have workflows where you could have an all Adobe environment. You could have workflows where you have a mixed environment of Adobe and Media Composer and MediaCentral. And I think that's really where you need to get down into the details of how things actually work. So if it's a production asset management system and it's coming back, it will come back as a flat file at the moment, looking to change that potentially in the future. But if it's working in an Adobe environment, you can then share those Adobe timelines between different clients.
Excellent, thanks, Craig. And just to sort of add to that one, someone said, what versions of tools do you need? And I assume it's the latest and greatest, right, for Premiere and MediaCentral?
Yeah, so this what we're looking at is going to be part of the MediaCentral 2020.9 release that's due to come out very, very soon. I believe that this is being used with Premiere 2019 and 2020, but generally it will be the sort of latest version. Certainly from a MediaCentral perspective, this is going to be in the 2020.9 release.
All right, sorry, I couldn't find the mute button there. I think we have time for a couple more questions here. A lot of questions, this is great. Let's see. All right, let's see. Confusing, okay, great. All right, will MediaCentral Cloud UX work with Media Composer 2018.12? Regis or Craig, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can answer that as well. Yes, yep. There's no limitations on the Media Composer versions. 2018.12, as you know, is the older interface. 2019 and subsequent, and 2020 is the newer interface. One thing I would say is, whenever we do have a MediaCentral release, we always publish a very comprehensive compatibility matrix, which will show all of the supported versions that you have, whether it's working with a MediaCentral production management system or working with a version of Media Composer. So when the release comes out, then double check with those compatibility notes as well.
Okay, great. And then do I have to use MediaCentral Cloud UX for this integration to work, or do I just need Nexus storage?
So again, there are different components. I think you highlighted this in some of the slides from earlier on. The key components are, the Adobe panel for, so the MediaCentral panel for Adobe Premiere, and there is the MediaCentral connector for Adobe Premiere as well. So yes, it has to be Nexus storage, and then those are the key components that you need. And as I mentioned really earlier on when we were talking about some of the other workflows, it then depends on the kind of scale of the system that you need, depending on the other components that you would have. But those things, the connector in particular, I guess, is to an extent the secret sauce that is making a lot of this work. So those would be the sort of fundamental building blocks that you would need to have along with Nexus storage.
All right, great. Thanks, Craig. Well, so I would say we're just about out of time. I want to thank all the panelists today, Marjorie, Van, Craig, and Michael, for doing a great job articulating what's now possible between the two platforms and enabled by the cooperation of the two companies. We will be posting this webinar because this is being recorded, of course. So if you either signed up for the webinar and couldn't make it, or if you're here, you'll get a recorded copy of this, of course. And so we'll be sending that out as soon as it's available. And we will also answer all of these questions as well. So any of the questions we didn't get to, we will answer those, and there will be a transcript that will come along with that recording. So this is exciting news. One last question someone asked is, what's next? I can't really divulge what's next other than to say that, we're not done yet, right? There's more things to come. And we're excited about this partnership, and we're excited about what's coming next. And we think you're going to like it. I'll just leave it at that. And once again, thank you everybody for jumping on today. We really appreciate your time. And once again, thank you to Adobe for being here today and for the partnership. Have a great day, everybody. And thanks again.